Hello, hello, hello. We are so glad to be back. This is a new season of Tuesday Talks with Tonia, and I am your host, Tonia Gibbons. And I am excited for 2025, all the new guests, all the new topics. So, for those of you joining us for the first time, welcome. For those that are returning, welcome back, welcome home. We are going to get started, and I'm so excited to have this conversation right now with someone who is no stranger to our community here in the CSRA. And for those of you who don't know what that means, CSRA means Central Savannah River Area. That is all of the communities that surround Augusta, Georgia. We're divided by a river, but you have Aiken, North Augusta, and all parts further in South Carolina, but you also have counties in Georgia too. So it doesn't just mean Augusta, it means the Central Savannah River area. So I'm so happy to have with me Miss Tonda Booker. And our topic today is a good one, I think. She's a real estate agent. And so the topic is real estates, selling dreams one home at a time with Tonda Booker. And I'm going to give you a little bit of background, and then we're going to dive into some conversation with Tonda and let her share with us what she likes. But she is owner and founder of Tonda Booker Real Estate Group LLC. She's a native of Allendale, South Carolina, daughter of the late Isaiah and Gracie Mae Riley, the middle sister to Isaac, Isaiah, and Gracie Mae Riley, and those are her parents. I'm sorry. Middle sister to Viv, Isaac, and Crystal. A high school graduate of Allendale Fairfax High School, class of 95. A college graduate from the University of South Carolina, where she obtained a bachelor's degree in business administration and furthered her education by obtaining a master's degree in marketing from Southern Wesleyan University in Clemson, South Carolina. She's been married to Troy Booker for 21 years, Troy Booker Sr., and they have two beautiful children, Troy Jr. 19 and Taylor Booker 16. So welcome, Miss Tonda Booker. Welcome to Tuesday Talks with Tonia.
Thank you. Thank you, Tonia. I'm really excited.
Thank you. This has been a long time coming. We've been working on this for a while. So I'm so glad that we're able to finally sit down and have a conversation about real estates, selling dreams one home at a time. And we were just chatting earlier about just what that means. And so share with us a little bit about your time growing up in Allendale, because for those who don't know, Allendale is a small community in South Carolina. And, what made you want to get into real estate, and how was your life shaped in Allendale that brought you to the point where you're at right now?
Okay, awesome. Well, Allendale, my hometown, and I must say, I had a great childhood. I had a great upbringing, had a great circle of friends at my high school and elementary school. Still really close best friends with my sixth grade best friend.
Wow.
Yeah. So we used to call ourselves the Tie Crew, our class of 95. We were so corny, but we still, I would say our class have some of the most successful people in it. I mean, some of the most Ivy League schools graduated, some AF High graduates. So I know that people like to say, oh, Allendale is such a small town, and it is. And a lot has changed. A lot of industries have left our city since I've been growing up. But those industries and our parents there, the upbringing that they instilled in us, hard work, honesty, integrity. We were able to go to our friend's house and spend a night and not feel, violated or nervous. Just having that community is what I grew up with. And Allendale being a small town, that felt like family for most people.
Yeah. And that's good to know, because a lot of times, and what you mentioned about it was a small community, but you had a family feel, and everybody probably knew one another. Everybody trusted one another. You didn't have to worry about, your safety. And, like you said, going over to someone's house and spending the night, that was a big deal back in our day, but is not like that these days and times. You have to be very, very careful. And you mentioned, everybody growing up and being successful, regardless of kind of where you come from. It's really not about where you come from. It's about what you desire to do, what work you're willing to put in. And I like that you said your parents instill in you integrity and good character, because I think we're lacking a lot of that today in today's time. So that I know is key to your success.
Yes, absolutely. And that's why I referenced the majority of my classmates, is because a lot of their parents, all of our parents are around the same age and kind of had some of the same moral settings, and not upholding our right and our wrong, holding us accountable. So no matter where, like you say, where you come from, it's the process you go through. And like I said, the majority are pretty successful because I think of that grassroots upbringing.
Yeah, yeah. And so tell me a little bit about the Tonda Booker Real Estate. You have your own real estate company. You've worked for some very well-known name firms, Maybaum and Keller Williams. And so now you have your own. Is that correct?
So I'm with Real Broker, but I am the associate broker there. And I have my own office location. So I have a team within my office, and I am actually growing the team, looking to, for the first time, really trying to recruit agents for the team, and really, really help agents grow their business within my business. So yeah, we have our independent location, and we're excited. So yeah.
Good. So tell me a little bit about this. So as I was thinking about the topic, so I'm always thinking outside of the box, and I like it to be where people can relate to it, where they can feel a sense of, oh, I get that, or that relates to me. And so when I think about real estate, from my era, because I'm a little bit older than you, but from my era, my mom, she never was a homeowner, not until the day she died. She never
Right.
owned a home. And so that wasn't something that, we aspired to, because it wasn't something that we were taught. What do you say to people who say, well, I'd rather rent versus own a home? And what does that look like? Because sometimes owning a home could look like a townhome. It could be, a single family dwelling. It could be something that somebody wants to leave, so they may purchase a duplex. And what is the process that you take people through when they're getting to the point where they want to purchase?
Okay, great question. First, I'm going to commend you. I love your topic, real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So that meant, so for anyone who's watching, if they didn't catch on to that, you wanted to clarify that real estate property is not just, it's just not just a house. It's like, it's real estate. Like
Yeah.
this is your estate. This is your stake in the game. This is your stake in the world, your stamp, your ownership. And Tonia, believe it or not, I see a lot of people who are first-time home buyers in their family, like in their family. And I see more and more young people willing to take a chance where their parents never owned a home before. And they realize that, the equity that you can get from owning a home, being able to pass it down to your family, to your children, to leave a legacy, no matter what type of home it is. And that's I think that's where a lot of people really get caught up, Tonia, is they feel like if they can't step out and buy that $1 million home on the first shot, they'd rather rent this home right here. And I guess I'm the agent that always try to educate and teach. Like I take all of my clients on like they're truly my family members. I told to my nieces that they're in their early 20s. They bought a home. I have one niece that just turned 30. She owned 2 homes, and one is an Airbnb. So just instilling in them how important it is to purchase a home. I don't care if it's a $100,000 home or a $50,000 home. So I'm gonna get to answering your question too.
Well, take your time. I like this. I like the way this is going. Yeah.
I want people to that are hearing me to know that when you see someone, typically, no matter what race they are, creed or color, if they're living in $1 million home, usually that's not their first home.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would say I would say 95% of the time, unless their parents left them some huge fortune or some huge life insurance policy, it is not their first home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you graduate
Yes.
slowly into
Yes.
that forever home, which honestly you can keep going and going and going, because you can always want more and more and more.
Yeah.
So I want to let not just young people, all people know, start with something, please. I
Yeah.
mean, and I know that most of my clients, after I talk to them and really they get to know me, they realize for me it's not about a commission check. I want
Right.
you to buy a home because I
Right.
want to see more people invest their money into something that in 5 or 10 years you can call me and say, hey, I want to sell this property. And now
Yeah.
you're away with 60, 70, $100,000 to get the next home, or
Yeah.
keep that one as your investment property to help pay for the next property.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing. So a lot of our parents, parents, they just didn't own a home. They feel like we got a shelter over our head.
Yep.
We're not supposed to own our
Yeah.
own home
Yeah.
anyway. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna die anyway.
Yeah. 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 And that's interesting, because when I think about it too, my mom's mom, like, I honestly am trying to recall, like, who in my family owns their home. Like, now my dad does, and but my mom never owned a home. My grandmother, she owned a home when my mom and her children were younger. And so that property, the home is no longer standing, it's in Missouri. But my uncles, they managed the it's a lot. So they managed the lot. Basically, it's about 2 acres. But that's it. There's nothing in our family that's kind of a legacy thing. And there were 9 children. My grandmother had 9 children. And none of us, like, my aunt and uncle that have passed on, they own their home. But I think they left it to my cousin. I'm not really sure. But really, when I look over the grand scheme of, my family, and again, like I said, my mom, we weren't taught that. And so I didn't get my first home. I bought my first home after I had been married. I bought it in, what was it? Like, I think I was over 30 when I bought my first home.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I didn't really have anyone to walk alongside me to show me what to do. So I'm just going by what others are telling me. So you have to have trust in your real estate agent to make sure that you're getting what you need and you're not getting taken advantage of, and that you know the ins and outs. Because being a new homeowner, it is stressful. Doing the background, the credit checks. And of course, back then I didn't have good credit because I didn't know anything about all of that. You hear it and then it's not really real. You just continue living your life. Like, I'm just going to continue doing this, not knowing that at the end of the day, you're going to have something, stability. I look at owning a home as stability.
Right.
And then through the course of life, I was married at the time I bought my house. Ended up getting a divorce while I had my house. Ended up losing my house to foreclosure because I couldn't keep up with the payments after divorce. And you're not educated enough to know what you can do to save your home and just so many other things. So tell us a little bit about, what credit looks like, or what's the down payment, escrow. All of those things were foreign to me when I first bought my house. Escrow, what is that?
Yeah, right.
And then and the house that I ended up buying, we had to bid on. And so if you bid on the house and you don't get the bid, you don't get your money back. It's gone. So how do you educate those that you're serving to say, hey, okay, this is what escrow is. This is what you need to look forward to as a homeowner. You are the sole responsibility of this house. If something breaks, there's nobody for you to call. You have to fix it. And a lot of times I think we don't understand the whole weight of purchasing a home. So you have to get inspections done. You have to do this and that. Like, it's so much. How do you break it down where it's not so overwhelming for people?
Yeah, good. That's a good point. And I think that's why all of what you said, I think is the reason why a lot of buyers, a lot of potential homeowners just decide, just don't buy a home.
Yeah.
Um, but you are paying somebody's mortgage,
Yeah.
whether you're paying your own or the person's home you're living in.
True. True.
So you are definitely, they're not letting you stay there and
Right.
not making a profit off of it. So
Right.
obviously a home has value. It's
Yeah.
a way to produce income or to grow equity. But I always sit down with my buyers, whether it's on a Zoom or phone call or in my office, and first time home buyers, and walk them through the entire process. How much income do you have? What's your debt to income ratio? That's important to know. Like, I just this morning, I have a guy who makes $90,000 a year. He can't buy a home because he went and purchased an amazing vehicle, He had a lot of credit card debt and other debts that are depreciating debts, bad
Yeah.
debts, good debts, and some bad debts,
Yeah.
bad debts. And his DTI will not allow him to purchase a simple home
Wow.
to get into home ownership. So that's something to consider. Your credit score, your debt to income ratio, making sure that if you have reoccurring debt, pay it on time. Pay your monthly credit card debt on time. You pay the cell phone bill to keep it on. Pay your reoccurring debt at least before the 30-day reporting period, because you're gonna see that again if you try to face a lender to buy a home. Now, buying a car, totally different. I think anybody can drive any kind of car they want to drive, because on your credit 100 times until some predatory lender out there will give you that loan for that vehicle. So I set them down. I go through all that with them. I give them examples of people that I don't name names, but I give them examples of people, case studies. I tell them about myself. I walk them through the home inspections and what that looks like, and having a earnest money deposit. Like when we if you find a house that you want and you go on a contract, probably in 2 or 3 days, you're going to have anywhere from $500 to $1,000 earnest money deposit, depending on the price of the home. The higher dollar price, usually they want a little bit more earnest money. Walking them through that, hey, you don't have 4 days to make a decision. However, let's write the offer. You have so many days for due diligence. You can back out anytime you need to. You will get your earnest money back if you back out during your due diligence time. So I try to lessen all the fear, but I give them the reality too. Like, okay, we need to look at, you love the way this kitchen is laid out, and you like that it has new appliances, but it has a roof that is already 27 years old and you only have 2 years on it. Let's get the house that has new roof, new heating and air system. You may have to paint the walls. Who cares? Go buy a bucket of paint. Let's buy the house that's going to give you less mechanical issues. Always dress it up. You make a house your own anyway. So I walk them through. I have what's called a buyer's roadmap, and I'll send it to you, Tonia. So in case anybody wants of the buyer's roadmap,
awesome.
Get it from you can send it to them or share it with them, and it'll just walk them through everything that it's going to take to purchase a home inspection, what an appraisal is, because some buyers think home inspection, I just paid for the appraisal and a home inspection are two different things. So I go into depth explaining that, and I always try to keep my buyers to understand that this doesn't have to be your forever home. That's another thing about our what I've seen from my over 10 years in the business. What I've seen from our culture or our race, I would say, is we think that when you buy a home, that's it.
That's it. That's it.
Never have another one.
Right? That's it.
So then you got to get the home that is all decked out. Again,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
going to happen. Usually, it's not in your price point at the time that you're buying.
Mhm.
Secondly, you know, you when you buy that first home, you can use the equity to as a down payment on that next big home or whatever. But I try to explain to them that, you know, it is responsibilities with owning a home, but it's worth it. Anything too easy,
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
It's never not 100% worth it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a home ownership is the American dream. I don't care what anyone says. Acquiring property, either whether it's vacant land or whatever, having your name recorded at that tax assessor's office
Yep.
is a ding. It's a really good positive ding for you. One more thing I'll say about that is you mentioned that you had an aunt and uncle, and when they passed away, they left the property with a cousin. I'm running into this on a day-to-day basis. The way that property is being left,
Mhm.
the way that property is being, well, I would say willed or not willed, or the parents feel like they're leaving all 5 kids on the property because they don't want to be
Yeah.
dead and regretful. I don't know if it could be. I've never been dead before, so I don't know if you could be dead and regretful. But
Right.
but you know, we're gonna keep it in the family. Who's gonna pay the taxes? Well, I'm not paying the taxes because the house is
Yeah.
not paying. So you know, it's so much. And so I want to be able to have some. I do love the fact that I have my own office now. I have a huge conference room. I want to be able to offer some classes and have an attorney come in and help teach some of the buyers or homeowners how to actually leave your property where
Yeah.
it's not in limbo and end up getting taken.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. That is so important. I cannot tell you. So, me having formerly worked in the mayor's office, being connected to the tax assessor's office as well as the tax office,
Mm-hmm.
when I tell you, I people would call the mayor's office all the time because of that very reason. Well, my mom left us the house, but I've been paying the taxes and now I can't afford it and nobody else. And we want to keep the house in the family, but the city and the city will take your house if you don't pay those taxes. And there are so many, I've seen people's houses sold on that list every month, every first Tuesday of the month, courthouse steps. They sell in properties, and you can literally buy people's houses for whatever the taxes that are owed. And to me, that is just so sad that whoever left the property worked hard to make sure they left something. And then, like you said, siblings squabbling over, oh, well, it's really mine, or I'm not paying, you not, like it. I've seen it, and it's just so disheartening because nobody is educated enough to say, okay, what do we do collectively as a family to make sure that this remains in our family as a
Right.
legacy, you know? And then to the flip side, I look at the wildfires in California and homes that people lived in their whole lives are gone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they're devastated, and I can feel their pain because they're like, this is our home that we wanted to leave to our children. One of the guys, he was an actor, he said his daughter had just said to him, like literally 2 days before they lost their home, I want to be able to live in this house when you guys are gone. This is going to be my home, and I want this home to be for my children. And he was like, now we don't have anything. And so from that extreme to the, you know, losing it because of taxes or because nobody's being responsible. If you drive around a good bit of East Augusta, downtown Augusta, there are so many homes that have been just abandoned because the people that were responsible have either left, they don't come home to check, or they thinking somebody else is doing it. So it's so much education that's needed for folks to understand, like you said, hey, let's come together, let's have a conversation. Okay, if your parent leaves a home and there's multiple children, this is how you should do it, or this is what you should say in the will, or, you know, because probate court is a beast.
It is.
Probate
And it's
is
people, it's not,
costly.
it's it's awful. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, it's not that the city wants your property. They
They
really
don't.
want to keep it up.
They
They want
really don't.
But you have investors down there just waiting to eat your lunch. They are waiting to eat your lunch. I mean, they're going down there with $100,000 and they're buying
Yep.
4 and 5
Yep.
houses. And
Yep.
so there's value there. I don't care. Oh, well, they can have that house because it's run down. Well, guess what? They're going to fix it up, and that's rental income.
That's right.
Income, or if it's a flip for them.
That's
So
right.
it's definitely value in the property. And another thing is, like, if you have 4 or 5 siblings or 3, sometimes I've even seen 2, where well, let me buy the property. Well, I just don't want you to have it. They rather just let it go. And we got to get out of that mentality.
Yeah.
Out of that mentality. We've come a long way, and keep going. We need to have assets, and we need to build wealth.
Yeah.
We need to build wealth. And one of the strongest ways is through real estate. And that's owning real estate, not selling it. I mean, well, if you do right, selling, but owning real estate. And I think we just take it for granted. Like, we rather just stay comfortable opposed to not going out one weekend out of the month, or not have 2 or 3 extra pair of shoes or purses that we need to have, because your money is in your house.
You're right. You are so right about that. You are absolutely right about that. And I'm transparent. Like, I'm an open book, and it's that short-term sacrifice for long-term success. And a lot of times we're not willing to sacrifice in the short term. I know that was me for years. I was like, I'm going on this trip. I'm buying that purse, buying those shoes, buying those clothes. And then you have all this stuff, and what? And what?
But it's not working. Anything.
Like, it's not working for you. You done about that money gone. You're not getting nothing back from it. You mentioned even cars. When we're buying these cars, they depreciate as soon as you drive off the lot.
Yeah.
Get in an accident, and you're going to see how much that car is really worth.
You're going to see how much that car is really worth. Yep.
And you're stuck because you're in your mind, I got this car, you're paying these payments, but at the end of the day, if something happens, that car is not bringing in, it's not a benefit to you.
Not a benefit.
A home, on the other hand, you build equity, and you can borrow against that equity if you need it. Like, and I think a lot of times we just don't understand how a house is really helping you.
Yes. And I have a lady that I'm working with now. She has paid her house down so well. She's not selling her house, but she's pulling from the home equity of the property to buy another property. She's grown just that much equity in her property.
Wow.
Yep. Now she's buying a second home for an investment property, and so we definitely have to consider what are the important things to us. Education and home ownership, for sure. Being on top of your game, and I don't mean just stepping in the room having on a Louis Vuitton pair of shoes or a Louis Vuitton purse. I mean having your stuff together and lining up your assets, your wealth, and being able to live as stress-free as you can. Life is already stressful as it is.
Yes.
So
it is.
So I definitely work hard with buyers. Sometimes for the buyers that don't really want to be educated and held accountable, they won't use me, or they're scared when I call. They're nervous when I call, like, oh God, this means I'm really gonna have to do the work, or I'm gonna be buying a house. I don't care if it's 2 years from now, I'm gonna call you, we're gonna set up a plan. You might be denied with your credit, but you won't be, you might be delayed, but you might be delayed but not denied, because I have lenders who I require to give you a plan of action. So if you want to own a home in 6 months or a year, we're gonna do the work. You gotta do the work to do it. And
that's key. To me, that's the mark of a great agent. And because the first agent I had, she was that way. She was like, Tonia, this is what it is. This is what you need to do. And she walked with me every step of the way. When I tell you, this is the letter you write to your creditor. This is what you do to pay this off. This is what you do. I mean, the whole process, she was there telling me because I had no clue.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very helpful for me in order for me to get the home because I didn't see no way at all that I was going to be able to get this house. I was like, there's no way. And she was like, no, Tanya. And her name was Tonia.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, we're going to get it done. I mean, and we even had to change, what was it? The lending company. We went to a local one and they, and it's so sad to say this, but this was years ago. They were so racist. And the lady that they had, like, she was just rude and so she said, nope, we're going to somebody else. And so we went to somebody else. And it was an easy process, easier than I anticipated. And once the process was done, I was just so relieved that she helped me because, again, my mom didn't teach us that. My mom didn't say you need to own a home and, being married and growing up, you're like, okay, well, what's next? Oh, buy a house. Oh, okay. It was so haphazard, but real estates, you have to have something. I mean, and even more recently, like I currently don't own. And I'm currently vacillating between, am I going to buy anything or not? And I'm just like, not right now. But again, I don't have children of my own. I don't have biological children. So I think for me, that's one of the reasons, because I'm like, who I'm going to leave it to? Now, I do have godchildren and I could leave it to them. But I think for me right now, where I'm at, it's like, okay, because I'm interested in the whole Airbnb or having rental property. But it's just like, what does that process look like for me? Like, so what do I need to be thinking about if I want to say, hey, I want to purchase something, but I only want it for a rental property or an investment property? What advice would you give me?
So I definitely hear what you're saying about, not having like someone to leave the property to, but you're still so young. You're still so young, Tonia. You really still can pull equity, pull cash. To have rental properties, my philosophy, and this is not like a golden rule or something that has to, I feel like you should definitely own at least one property, because you're just trading, you're just trading for trade, if that makes sense. It's not an equal trade. Like you rent your house, but then you bought a house for someone else to rent from you.
Yeah.
But you still, like, it's kind of like defeating like the whole purpose. That's my philosophy.
Yeah.
But it's definitely always good to go ahead and buy one, other than not buying one, and use that property as equity. And maybe you'll realize, hey, look, I'm getting out of here. This is not really, it sounds like this is a temporary thing for you. Like you're still trying to figure out what you want to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're so free like that, Tonia, you really can just live on a whim. You can just do whatever you want. And so it sounds like you're just free and just enjoying life.
Yeah.
And that's great. But you have time to figure out what you want to do. But yeah, it's better to buy one if it's just for investment than not. But for people who are really trying to build a rental portfolio, the first thing is to own one, because usually your first one could be your rental if you buy a new house. A lot of people that I sell to, they're either keeping the house for a rental if it's in a decent area. It's always, I always help them look at everything, whether they should sell it or rent the property, their first property. So I always call it, you have to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to. So I look at both scenarios and the condition of the property, and to see if, okay, should we keep your first house as your rental income or investment property, or should we pull as much equity as we can, focus on the new house, and then start again, or buy investment properties while we're in there. But yeah, I would say, Tonia, I would go ahead and buy property if I was you, regardless if you're going to rent it. You may end up saying, I'm going to just move in it. Usually that could happen. And we're in such a great location in the Central Savannah River area, Augusta, like you said, North Augusta, Aiken, Evans, Martinez, Hepzibah. We have so many influx of industries. Like we have Plant Vogel, we have Savannah Riverside, the hospital, the dental school, cancer center,
The military.
yeah, military. We just have so much in and out that you can't go wrong by
Yeah. Yeah.
purchasing property.
Yeah. Especially now because of the influx, we have a shortage
You have
actually.
a mm-hmm,
And so that gives leverage to the owner
mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
people are always clamoring for, I need a home, I need a duplex, I need a townhouse, whatever. And I think too, that's another thing, educating people on owning like a single family dwelling versus a duplex versus a townhome. Are there any advantages to one over the other?
Um, Again, it depends on lifestyle, purpose. I sell a lot of properties in the riverfront condominiums, the only condominium we have in Augusta
Yeah.
downtown. The
Yep.
flamingo is what I call it, the
Yep.
beautiful. So I probably sold about 13 of those properties, and I specialize,
Really?
yeah, I specialize in that little um condo section, and it's because I have a lot of people that come in and out.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of I've moved my first cousin here. She owner of Pedal Pub.
Okay. Yep.
I,
Yep. Yep.
I moved her Sedaris here from Atlanta, and she bought one in that building. And I knew
Wow.
single, no kids, and just wanted to be able to have that freedom of not worrying about a roof. That was some
Yeah.
of the advantages.
Yeah.
Now she does pay an HOA. Usually they come with HOAs. So if you don't like
Yeah.
an HOA,
Yeah.
that is the opposite side of it. But sometimes those condos or townhomes, they'll cut your grass, the
Yes.
front part of your grass. They'll maintain a lot of things, the roof. So it just depends on what that association or that condo or townhome offers.
Yeah.
And it depends on the lifestyle. So I mean,
Yeah.
if you have 4 or 5 children, a
Yeah.
townhome might not be
Right.
the best idea for you because they
Right.
want to play outside and
Yeah.
stuff like that. If you have a pet or
Hmm.
pets, sometimes if it's your own, you can definitely have a pet, but sometimes
Right.
having 4 or 5 dogs is not going to be feasible because they need to run and play around in the yard too.
Mhm.
So it
Yeah.
just depends
Yeah.
on the lifestyle, the budget, what you want to do. You have so much flexibility to do whatever
Yeah.
you do once you either have the cash money to purchase a property or the lender allows you an allowance to purchase a property. I always say it's just whatever works for you,
Yeah.
and also just knowing, especially again, our race, they want to buy the biggest and best. Please
Yes. Yes.
take that off.
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
care what
Yeah.
your colleagues or your friends or your cousins
Right.
or your
Right.
whatever say.
Right.
Oh, he bought a house, but it's he just paid $80,000. I don't care. Guess what?
It's yours.
It's yours, and in their renting is yours. And in 3 or 5 years, that 80,000 is 150,
Right. Right.
160, depending
Yeah.
on what you do to it and the location you buy
Yeah.
in. It could be
Yeah.
at 250.
Yeah.
So it's the smartest thing you could do, and especially if you yield yourself as a responsible person. I mean, because like you
Hmm.
say, out of house, you need to make sure you maintain the property.
Yes.
Keep it up.
Yes.
Plumbing issue, get homeowners, get they have these third party home warranty companies now.
Yeah. Yeah.
They you pay $50 a month, and they will take care of major things that happen to your property. So yeah, I mean it's all kind of ways. It's all kind of ways to own, and definitely that probate and the all the wills and the houses that are left behind is a such a crime and a shame that
Yes. It is. It is.
and I'm
And
that's
I think for especially our culture and our even our generation, even mine, but those are behind, just understanding the value, understanding that if it wasn't so valuable, everybody wouldn't be trying to get it. Like you said, those investors come in town on their planes, they come in with money in their hand and they walk away with properties. And the next thing you know, the whole block is flipped because they got it on the low. They have the money and the finances to flip it and to make it where somebody wants to live there. And now they're making money off of something that your family blood, sweat, and tears. Like,
Right.
you know.
Exactly. You paid all the chunk of it. It's like
Yeah.
paying down on a car that you or whatever you had, and you didn't pay down to the last $5,000 on the car, and you let it go back, or you something like that. I mean, if you have a situation like that, for anybody out there that is listening, at least call an agent. Call me.
Yeah.
Call me. If you don't want to call me, call an agent somebody who's savvy, who's been in the business, that can really help you navigate and understand that. You don't have to always have. Some people feel like I got to call an attorney. Yes, at the end of the day, we're going to connect you with an attorney because we are not attorneys. We're not real estate attorneys, but the agents that are selling and that's been out here have relationships with attorneys, and I have 2 attorneys that I specifically call their cell phones to talk to them about situations. And every day I get a call about stuff like this. Like everybody thinks, oh, she's selling how I work on problems all day.
Solving problems. But that's real estates, because with estates, you're going to have issues. You're going to have questions. You're going to have challenges. You're going to have, all these things. So you have to be able to answer and speak to those things for people because, hey, I need an answer. You're my agent, or even if you're not my agent, but I have a question, you are versed enough that, because I don't know, so I have to go to the expert, the subject matter expert, which happens to be you. So a lot of times people think it's just, oh, you just sell a house. No, it's so much more than that.
It's so much more than that. Like you'll be shocked. That's what, oh, you're getting paid commission. It's not about the commission. Like that's a byproduct of what I do. But I am in the trenches every day. I get a call, whether it's a divorced husband or a divorced wife. I had a man call me about 3 weeks ago, and my close family members and friends, I shared this with them because I just had to tell somebody, and of course my husband. He said, I saved the lives of 3 people when he met me and got me to sell his house. This man said he was going to literally blow a gasket. I don't want to say what he said, but
right.
Because he was so frustrated with the divorce, the attorney, and the judge involved. And I'm like, oh my God. What's going on?
Right.
And a lot of people, they get so divorced, get so railroaded with their property during a divorce. And it does not have to be that way.
It doesn't.
I did have one judge appoint me to help this couple resolve their divorce. And I just started becoming proficient at it because I was like, okay, these are the 3 things that need to happen. And I just use that formula for every one I have, and it works. And it's just been, so it's not, as me as an agent, I'm not out here putting on stilettos, swinging my hair, opening doors and making big checks.
Right. You earn it. I think a lot of times people, that's the part they focus on. Oh, they're going to get a commission. Oh, but I worked. That's just like you going to work. You want a paycheck for your work, right? Like, why is it so long for me to get paid for what I do and the work that I do? And so you can't compare what you do to what I do. And a lot of times I don't know why people just get hung up on, oh, they're going to make this commission. And well, that's what they supposed to. I don't know anybody that likes to work for free.
Right. Nobody likes to work for free. And the value, the value you add to the transaction as an experienced knowledge agent who's I've seen every scenario you can see, from diseased trees that the VA won't pass the VA appraisal, all the way to the husband or wife coming in wanting to get at each other at the at the table, at the closing table, from selling high, selling appraisal issues that may have arise when we trying to sell or whatever. I work all shifting markets, like the markets, the interest rates. Like I have buyers who call me now that I tried to get on board 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Like, why didn't you just make me? The rates are twice as much now. Because I don't want you to think I have commission breath. I really know things are changing, and I don't know if we ever gonna see 3.25 again.
Yeah. And I think that's why it's important to meet with folks and for them to get to know you, you get to know them, to know that, hey, I'm in this with you. I'm in this for you. I'm not in this to get over on you. I'm not trying to just get a big check. I really have a heart to help. And from your bio, I was just looking at, you work for United Way and you help people. So that's in you. So you take that with you even into the real estate realm. Like you don't stop just helping people because you're in real estate. That gives you the experience and the background to help people even more in a bigger and broader way, because this is life. This is legacy. This is, helping people build on, their dreams and their hopes. And it's educating. So educating is help. How do I help serve the people that I'm working with and working for? So, yeah.
And believe it or not, there are people, well, I'm going to say two things. When I first got my license, my little slogan is your agent, your advocate. And I remember people saying, that's so cliche, it's so corny. I mean, advocate of what? An advocate is somebody who's, no, an advocate is someone who goes hard for you, who represents you, who protects
works on your behalf.
Who works on your behalf. So I know I can't get away from the saying, your agent, your advocate. It's on my billboard, your agent, your advocate. Because I just feel that from the inside out, like coming from a United Way setting, raising for over 25 charities, in nonprofit organizations. And then I worked for Shiloh Community Center too. I was their executive director. I worked with the city to build a senior walking track. I work a lot with the senior community, the aging community, and helping them downsize, and whether it's through getting them assigned with estate planners, estate sellers to help sell things that they have, and helping them downsize, whether they're going into a facility to help sell their home or whatever. So I just felt that I was more of an advocate than just an agent. I stuck with that, and I still go with that.
And it fits because it's true. It's true. You take your whole self into whatever you're doing, and you started out helping. You started out serving, and you still do the same thing. It's just in a different way, different audience, but the outcome is still the same. How can I help you? How can I advocate for you? How can I support you? And so keep that and forget what people say, because at the end of the day, and the people you serve know. And so that's all that matters.
And to people who are listening or looking at this, I want y'all to know that people want you to stay unwoke. Woke for me means I don't know, maybe because I'm not into all the stuff that goes on, the wording and stuff. So my daughter, she's 16. She say, "Mom, did you just say that? That sounds really silly." So I don't know if I'm even putting woke in the right paraphrase, because I think it is not knowing what's really happening out here. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know if it belongs to,
and that's what I think it is too. Being woke means you're not subject to the tricks, that you're paying attention to the trends, to what's taking place, that you're not going to be taken advantage of or misled or, any of that. To me, that's what woke means. And I think we're in alignment with that. Like, stay woke and know, because that's one of the jobs of the enemy. He wants us to not be woke. He wants us to not know. He wants us to be in the dark. He doesn't want us to understand. He doesn't want us to have wisdom. He doesn't want us to have knowledge. And that's what you have to have in order to get ahead and to do what you need to do for yourself, for your family, for your community. And I think our culture, we've been asleep too long. It's time for us to wake up.
It's time for us to wake up. It's time for us to realize, yeah, I mean, they want your tax dollar money. They want you to
That part.
spend products, contribute to that cell phone, that sneakers. And I mean, I like to dress nice too, but I know,
Mhm.
I think everything should be done in reason. They want us to keep spending, but
Keeping
not
their
building.
economy going, but we don't have anything to show for it.
No,
We
nothing.
spend money on cars, clothes,
Mhm.
travel, but there's no benefit to us. There is
No,
nothing coming back to us. We don't get a residual on every dollar we spend on those shoes and those cars and those clothes, but we do on homes. And that's why home ownership, I think, is key right now,
mhm.
because we're in a time where if you don't have a home, you really have nothing in this country, like nothing,
Right.
absolutely
And they're
nothing.
trying to pull, what I'm seeing is like, the programs that are out here that can help you,
Yeah,
like what's going on with, the assistance that downtown is given, and
yeah,
um,
HUD and all of
other,
those programs. Yep.
some of that. We don't know what the current administration is going to do. We don't know, and I don't like politics like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I try to, stay away from it. But when it directly, things that I definitely see is going on, I want to just shake everybody up and say, look,
yeah. Mm-hmm,
it's
mm-hmm,
time to put all this foolishness aside and all the
mm-hmm.
things that they keep our brains cluttered with, or we keep ourselves, we buy
Right.
into,
The
we buy into,
distractions, the
right?
distractions. Yeah, yeah,
We
because
need to really,
home ownership versus housing affordability, because right now, housing affordability is horrible. There is no affordable housing for the median income. Like, it's just not. And so home ownership a lot of times is a lot cheaper than renting.
mhm, mhm.
I've seen that and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
But they keep us tricked, keep us
Hmm.
distracted, and we just,
And we
yeah,
fall for it. We fall for
we
it.
do.
Fall
We
for it.
do.
And I
We
think
do.
it's gonna just be start at home. It's gonna start from home, your home. What your parents
Yeah.
teach you is a
Yeah.
value
Yeah.
that, like, it's gonna have to happen from a home base. And
Yeah.
like, not seeing an uncle or aunt or this person or that person have the things that we're saying that we should be acquiring, is it doesn't help, because we don't have that person we can reach out and touch and can say,
Yeah.
hey, show me how
Yeah.
to do this and show me how to do that.
Yeah.
But I'll
Yeah.
be your auntie. I'll be your
Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
advocate, just
Yeah.
I just want to see people do well. But I will tell you, if you're in a bad situation, we're gonna do the work. If you're
Yeah.
not accountable and checking in with me every once a month, or with the lender once a month that we decide that you're gonna work with, you decide your lender, but I kind of just um, help you with that, then I don't take you on as a client. I don't
Yeah.
have time. I want serious
That's right.
folks who want
That's
to get
right.
there. That does
That's
not mean
right.
you got to be qualified today, but it means that you got to be
You got to do
qualified
the work.
for the job to do the
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to do the work. You got to do the work.
Right.
Well, this has been a wonderful conversation. I love it. So tell people how they can reach you, contact you.
So you can contact me. You can go to calltonda.com. That website will take you to csraaugustahomes.com, which has every single property, no matter who is listed under, what brokerage, don't matter. We all are even to open the doors of any house that is on the market under the MLS we serve. Like, I serve all of South Carolina, all of Georgia. So you can go to my website, calltonda.com, or you can call me at 706-651-SELL, SELL. I think it's 651. Yeah, 651-SELL. And we'll answer. I have a full staff, 2 admins that will definitely answer the phone for you up until 6 o'clock. You can send us an email. We respond within hours. And yeah, reach out and get educated, if nothing more.
Yeah.
If you're not ready now, let's put together a plan. If you have a mother or an uncle or aunt or somebody who's getting older, they own a piece of property and y'all just don't know what to do with it, call me. Let me get you connected with the right resource,
Yeah.
and let's put together your estate, because I don't care if it's $30,000, it's still an estate.
That's right.
It's real estate. Thank you
That's
for
right.
doing that, Tanya. That was really,
Yes.
really clever.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And do you go out like in the community and do like educational things? You know, a lot of times community centers or churches or groups may want to bring you on. Do you do that as well?
Yes, I have been invited to a few senior centers. And I guess because I've worked for Shiloh Community Center
Yeah.
under the late great Dr. Ruth B. Crawford. Um,
Yay.
and I learned so much from her. Oh my God, she helped contribute to who I am today. Honestly, she was tough on me, but she kept me straight on everything.
Yeah.
So I guess because of that, I met a lot of seniors in the community, and I did that senior walking track with the mayor. It was Copenhagen at the time. And I guess, so I love working with seniors, but I work with first time home buyers too.
Okay.
And I try to educate on every level. So if I'm invited to speak someplace, I go. At my new location on Davis Road, I am going to be offering some classes, and it's probably going to only be up to maybe about 60 people at a time.
Okay.
It will be free to the community.
Okay.
And I will definitely have some great people in there to help educate you. Like I learn a lot through experience and with my
Yeah.
clients, but I'm not an attorney. So I will have an attorney
Yeah.
on board and a lender on board
Yeah.
along with me to make a great team to help educate you.
Well, thank you. And that's very helpful. So those of you out there in Tuesday Talks land, if you're hearing this, watching this, seeing this, make sure you share it with others, let others know, especially if you're in that space where you need to know if you want to buy a home, what you need to do, get educated. Call Miss Tonda Booker, Tonda Booker Real Estate. We are so grateful to have you today. Thank you so much for sharing your wealth of knowledge. It's been eye-opening even for me. And I appreciate you taking out the time to share with Tuesday Talks with Tonia. And we look forward to more success for you. We look forward to seeing you out and about in the CSRA community.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. And to Tuesday Talks with Tonia, you know what to do. Like, share, tell somebody, share with somebody. And we look forward to seeing you again shortly. Everybody have a great day.